Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and welcome back to my Premier League table ranking special series. 5 days away now from the start of the Premier League season, and every single day leading up to the start, we've been breaking down what I think the table will finish at season's end. To kind of recap it all, since we are now only 5 days away, at number 10 I had Crystal Palace, number 9 I had Stoke City, number 8 I had West Ham United, number 7 I had Liverpool, number 6 I have Leicester City, and then at number 5 finally I have Tottenham Hotspur. And Tottenham is certainly one of those interesting clubs where last season they had a remarkable year. Really, you saw and you could trace the progression of Tottenham and Mauricio Pochettino and everything that he's done with this club, the young talent he has there. There are so many pieces for this club that have all come together at the perfect time and have turned them into one of the major powers currently in the Premier League. But obviously 5 is quite a slip from 3 where they finished last season, and last season they did find themselves in 3rd place, 19 wins, 13 draws, and 6 losses. But like I've been saying throughout this entire series, this Premier League season is going to be tremendously difficult from top to bottom. I mean, I think you look at the best 7 clubs in this league, and I could make an argument that any of those clubs could finish anywhere inside the top 3, but as of right now, I think for me, Tottenham is one of those things, and I read a very interesting article this morning on Sky Sports where I think the perfect line that they said was, while everyone else went out and bought a team, Tottenham already had theirs, and I think that's very true. Tottenham really hasn't been very active in the off-season transfer market, but they really haven't had the biggest need to. Yeah, maybe they could have addressed a couple things here and there, but I think largely this is a very young group with young talent in almost every key position, and that is one of the reasons why that doesn't concern me a ton. What does concern me a little bit with Tottenham is the really bad finish to their season last year, and really they had a chance. I mean, they were right on Leicester's coattails. It was a battle through and through with the two of them battling it out for that one spot, but when it came down to it, the word that separated Tottenham and Leicester City, and not just the two of them, but it was largely the word that separated everyone from Leicester last season, was consistency. Leicester had shown an ability to just never ever drop points against clubs they shouldn't, and Tottenham did. When you look at their final stretch of the season, they played matches and they drew against West Brom, they drew against Chelsea, and the draw against Chelsea is actually what gave Leicester City the championship. Then against Southampton they lost, and against Newcastle, the final match of the season, they also lost. So they really didn't finish the season off very well, and that's one of the things that did concern me the most. Was Tottenham was largely had a very good body of work, a 3rd place finish in the Champions League. But when you're having these hiccups here and there, that's something that shouldn't be happening. It's something that happened to Arsenal, Man City, all the other top clubs. But it's something that when you want to take that next step forward, it's one of those things that's going to make me circle it as a red flag for them. But I do think they're going to have a very good season. One of the things I do want to see, though, is how they react to being in the Champions League, balancing those matches with the competitiveness of the Premier League. Leicester City's kind of in that same spot, which is why I have Leicester City in 6 and I have Tottenham in 5. And I really could go back and forth. I could make arguments why I would want to put Leicester in 5 or Tottenham in 6, but I just think as it is, Leicester's the defending champions. They're going to lose a few more matches than they did last season. So I have them at 6 and I have Tottenham at 5, but Harry Kane certainly is making a statement for himself with how prominent he's becoming at the forefront of the Premier League hierarchy. Back-to-back 20-plus goal seasons, 25 last year, 21 the season before that. Will his numbers go up? I think they will. I think he'll probably be around that 26, 27 goal mark this season. And he is going to be a huge catalyst as it is for this team because, like we kind of referenced at the top, they haven't brought in a ton of players to put around him. They already have a lot of good young players as it is. but it still probably would have been helpful for them to try to bring in something at least. But it will be very competitive from top to bottom. Tottenham is going to be a very tough one, and I think the thing you wanted to see and you always like to see is you chart the progression. And with Tottenham, it's very easy to chart their progression. Before last season, defeating Man City both times the way that they did, hanging toe-to-toe with everyone else the way that they did, they just had a couple of those flare-ups against a side like a Southampton or a Newcastle, or drawing against a side like a West Brom like they shouldn't. And I think as you get older, and though this team is still very, very young, and Pochettino has such a nice formula to work with and to build and develop around when you have such integral pieces that are so young and continue to be developed. It's a very nice thing to have, but I look at this league right now, and I just think you look at Guardiola, you look at Mourinho, all these top managers. That is really what I think is going to be separating. This is going to be the year of the manager. Last season was kind of totally up in the air. Nobody knew what to make of it, and Leicester City took advantage of that. But this season, I do think we see a return to normalcy, and the top managers with the top talent are going to be the ones who get it done. And for me, Tottenham is getting very close. They continue to build, and they're continuing to get very good, and they're only going to get better. But for now, that 5th place spot is merely because of the competitiveness of the Premier League. That might sound like an indictment, but I've been saying that through this whole series. When I'm putting a side like a West Ham at an 8 or a Leicester City at a 6, that's not an indictment on them having a bad season or a step back from their season last year. It is a reflection and a testament to the strength of the Premier League. And if you put a Tottenham in another league, I think it'd look entirely different. But being a 6th or a 5th place in the Premier League, it's just worlds apart than it would be in a Serie A or in La Liga or in Ligue 1 or all those, or even in the Bundesliga. It's why the Premier League is the best of the best, and I have Tottenham finishing in 5th place in 5 days until the start of the season. Get excited, people. It's coming. Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll catch everybody in the next episode.